Uh...
The story begins with a happy-looking family of three. There's a woman named Connie, her husband Edward, and their young son Charlie. They live together in a beautiful house that's located outside the city. Their home is peaceful and spacious, surrounded by quiet roads and calm weather. It seems like the perfect suburban life. They've been married for several years, and from the outside, everything looks normal and settled. One day, it's a typical busy morning. Connie is preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Edward is getting ready to leave for his office. Their son Charlie is running around the house, getting ready for school. It's a normal start to a family day. During breakfast, they talk about Charlie's upcoming birthday. Connie decides to go to the city to shop for birthday decorations as well as gifts. She wants to make Charlie's birthday party special. Connie heads to the city by train, but as soon as she arrives, the weather takes a turn for the worse. A sudden storm comes in, bringing heavy wind and cold rain. The streets are crowded, and everyone is rushing to take shelter. As Connie tries to walk carefully, she accidentally bumps into a young man who is carrying a pile of books. The books fall to the ground, and so do the bags Connie is holding. The man quickly helps her pick everything up. His name is Paul Martel. In the process, Connie injures her leg slightly. It's nothing serious, but she's clearly in pain. Seeing this, Paul kindly offers to help her. He suggests that she come with him to his nearby apartment so she can clean her wound and rest for a bit until the weather settles. At first, Connie is hesitant. After all, he's a stranger. But since it's difficult to find a taxi and the weather is terrible, she accepts his offer. They arrive at his apartment, and Connie notices that the place is filled with books.
You a writer?
Shelves, stacks, and piles everywhere. It has a warm, artistic vibe. Paul tells her he's not a writer, but a book dealer, and the apartment actually belongs to his friend who is currently living in Paris, so he's staying there for a while. Paul brings her a first aid kit and helps her bandage the cut on her leg. He's polite, charming, and soft-spoken. He even wraps a warm cloth around her leg to keep it from getting cold. Connie thanks him and prepares to leave. Before she goes, Paul hands her a book and suggests she read a particular page.
Went to page 23.
That page talks about living in the moment and not holding back in life. The message lingers in Connie's mind. After some time, she manages to catch a taxi and returns home. When she reaches her house, she tells Edward about what happened. She casually mentions the man who helped her in the city. Edward jokes around, asking if he was good-looking. Connie laughs and says yes. Actually, he was quite handsome.
No. There was this nice guy who helped me.
Edward then jokes that they should send him a thank you gift, maybe a bottle of wine. The mood remains light. That night, Connie and Edward decide to try out a new video camera which Edward has recently bought. They play around with it, record themselves, and enjoy the evening together. Their interaction ends up becoming intimate, and everything still seems fine between them. The next day, Connie picks up the book that Paul gave her. As she flips through it, she finds that Paul had written his phone number inside. She pauses, thinking for a moment. Eventually, she decides to call him. She pretends that she needs his address to send him that bottle of wine as a thank you gift, and things take as interesting turn. Paul gives her the address as well as invites her over for coffee. Surprisingly, Connie accepts the offer. After a while, when she visits Paul again, they talk more comfortably this time. He plays some romantic music and asks Connie if she would like to dance. At first, she hesitates, unsure of how to respond, but after a few seconds, she agrees, and they dance slowly. Paul compliments her eyes, and Connie smiles, a little flattered. As she prepares to leave, she remembers that she forgot her coat inside. She goes back in to grab it, but this time, Paul gently stops her. He leans in and softly kisses her. Connie is caught off guard, but doesn't resist. The kiss deepens, and one thing leads to another. They end up sleeping together. It's their first moment of physical intimacy, and it marks the beginning of the affair. After that day, Connie feels a mix of emotions: guilt, excitement, confusion. But instead of stopping, she continues meeting Paul. She finds herself drawn to him. Their meetings become more frequent. Sometimes she lies to her husband to spend time with Paul. They meet at his apartment and also go out in public occasionally. During one of their private moments, Paul draws a little flower on her body with a marker. Connie smiles and enjoys the attention, but she also starts to feel nervous about hiding everything from Edward. One day, they go to a restaurant together. Connie feels afraid for being in public with Paul. She begins to insist him to leave from there. Meanwhile, an argument breaks out between two men sitting nearby that are having a fun argument on who will pay the bill. Paul makes a bet with Connie, telling her if the guy on the left side will pay the bill, they will stay here. Otherwise, they will do what Connie wants. After a while, we see the bet goes in favor of Paul, as the guy on the left side paid the bill. But it was not his lucky day for Connie, as one of the men happens to be Edward's friend. Later that night, back at home, Connie quickly washes off the marker drawing from her stomach before Edward sees it. But Edward is starting to notice something. Connie is acting more distant, distracted, and nervous. He gently asks her if everything is okay. Connie dodges the question. The next day, Edward suggests they have lunch together. Connie says she can't make it on time because she has a facial appointment. Edward tells her she's beautiful just the way she is and doesn't need a facial. Later, Edward becomes suspicious and calls the spa. He finds out that Connie never had an appointment. His doubts grow stronger. While this is happening, Connie continues her secret visits to Paul. One day, she is sitting in a restaurant with two of her friends. She notices that Paul's apartment is right across the street. She calls him from the restaurant without letting her friends know. Her friends notice Paul standing near the window and comment on how attractive he is. One of Connie's friend begins dreaming of having an affair with Paul, while on the other hand, the second friend jokes that affairs always end badly, with someone getting hurt. Feeling guilty, Connie later tells Paul that they should stop seeing each other, but Paul expresses that he would be heartbroken if they ended things. Connie cries and admits that she can't stop thinking about him. They embrace and become intimate again. Then one day, Edward comes to know that his friend is leaving the company, and while he's packing up, Edward accuses him of betrayal and dishonesty. Edward hints at being hurt and cheated, and in response, the friend carefully and indirectly tells Edward about his wife Connie's affair. He doesn't say it openly, but gives enough hints through his subtle words, making Edward realize the truth about Connie's cheating. Edward quietly hires a private detective to follow Connie. The private detective reports everything back to Edward. He shows Edward photos of Connie and Paul together. Edward is devastated. Edward decides to confront the situation. He goes to Paul's apartment pretending to be a customer interested in buying books. While there, he notices a snow globe that he recognizes immediately. It's something he once gifted Connie. The realization hits him hard. Blinded by rage and betrayal, Edward picks up the snow globe and attacks Paul. He hits him repeatedly on the head. Paul collapses, and Edward continues hitting him in a fit of uncontrolled anger. When it's over, Paul is dead. Edward stares at the lifeless body, horrified at what he's done. He starts cleaning the apartment to remove any signs of his presence. He wipes away fingerprints, cleans up the blood, and wraps Paul's body in a carpet. He then carries the body to his car and puts it in the trunk. On the way to pick up Charlie from school, Edward gets into a minor car accident. The trunk opens slightly, and the other driver sees something strange, but Edward quickly closes it before anything else can happen. That night, he drives to a remote landfill and disposes of Paul's body, burying it under trash. He goes back home quietly, acting like nothing happened. A few days later, the police come to their home. They say that Paul is missing and that Connie's name was found in one of his books. Connie acts surprised and says she barely knew him. The police seem satisfied with her answers for now. One day, Connie checks Edward's coat, and inside, she finds the photographs, the same pictures the detective had taken of her and Paul during their passionate moments together. These are intimate and personal photos, and seeing them in Edward's coat shocks her. Her heart drops. She instantly understands what this means. Edward knows. He knows everything. She holds the photos in her hands, her face full of fear, guilt, and confusion. Connie now knows everything. She has realized that Edward was aware of her relationship with Paul. When she returns home, she sees Edward casually having dinner with friends, acting like nothing has happened. During the evening, she notices all the gift in-house, the one Connie had once given to Paul. Her heart sinks the moment she sees it. It's the exact same gift she had given to Paul, now returned to her by Edward. This confirms her worst fear. Edward had gone to meet Paul, and something happened between them. She becomes disturbed and confronts him, demanding to know what he did. But Edward snaps and turns the question around on her. He accuses her of lying to him again and again, of never thinking about their family. He tells her that he had begun to suspect her long ago, and while he didn't plan to kill Paul, in that moment, it felt like Connie was the one who deserved his anger more. His words cut deep. Connie breaks down, crying uncontrollably. Their argument becomes loud and emotional, and in the middle of it, their young son wakes up frightened by the noise. Seeing him scared, Connie rushes to his room, hugs him tightly, and assures him that everything will be okay. She tells him that no matter what happens, both his parents love him deeply. The next morning brings a strange calm. Edward is seen teaching their son how to play the piano, trying to act like things are normal. Connie, meanwhile, sits alone, staring once more at the gift, the same one she had once given Paul. Under it, she finds an old note dated a month earlier. The words on the note reveal deep affection, someone expressing how much she means to them, calling her the most important part of their everyday life. She feels completely shattered as she watches the pictures of herself and Paul burn. The weight of her actions crashes down on her, and she breaks into silent tears. In her mind, she wishes she could go back to that one moment, the day she met Paul. If only she had chosen to take the taxi instead, everything might have turned out differently. But it's too late now. Regret can't undo the damage. Edward gently takes a seat next to her, his voice soft as he asks what they should do next. Connie, trying to stay composed, tells him not to confess anything yet. No one knows what really happened. She believes they still have a chance to leave all this behind and start over. Despite the heavy guilt inside him, Edward listens. He's haunted by what he did to Paul, the way it happened, and how broken it left him feeling. Days later, in an attempt to bring back some normalcy, the couple goes out with their young son to a charity event. On the way back home, Connie gently brings up the idea of starting fresh in another country. She imagines a peaceful life by the beach, running a small business away from their painful past. Edward listens quietly as the car rolls to a stop. When the camera pulls back, we see their car is parked right outside a police station. And with that moment of uncertainty hanging in the air, the movie ends, leaving viewers to decide for themselves what Edward will choose.